Good morning. Welcome back, fellow Hoops fans. This is another episode of the Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV. And as always, we are brought to you by our great friends over there at topsport.com.au. Now, we've got a very special guest this morning. We've had a lot of Australian guests. We've had a lot of American guests to talk NBA basketball and basketball in general. But today we've actually got our first European guest. Tenemos un periodista de baloncesto español, sports journalist extraordinaire, Antonio Gil. ¿Cómo estás, my friend?
¿Cómo estás? Buenas noches. Buenos días. Good morning there.
Buenos dias down here. Yes. Bienvenidos a the Last Shot NBA show. We're very happy to have you on here, and we're going to talk a lot of basketball, a lot of NBA basketball, and we're also going to talk a little bit of Spanish ACB basketball, because there's one player over there in particular that Australians have a very keen eye on. But first, we're going to touch on some news that happened this morning. Ben Simmons and James Harden both had their press conferences this morning being announced to their new teams. There were some interesting things said, Antonio, that I want to touch on with. So we'll start off with Ben Simmons first. Now, he said that the Nets are going to be scary good this year. And we're talking about him, Kyrie Irving, and obviously Kevin Durant when he comes back healthy. He said he's been in the gym working nonstop on his shooting as well in this time that he's had off. And he also spoke about his mental health issues. He's been getting a lot of criticism for that. People have been saying, oh, look, he got traded and his mental health issues have gone away and all that sort of stuff. So, Antonio, first of all, I want to talk to you a little bit about that. You know, what do you think about the whole Ben Simmons situation that's been going on?
I think it's not a joke. I mean, a lot of people is talking a lot about the mental health and all these things, but I think it's not a joke at all. I mean, when a basketball player or a professional sportsman said that they cannot play because they are not mental ready, it's because they don't really are. I mean, you cannot make jokes about that. And the situation maybe wasn't perfect for him there in Philly or wherever. So now he got a new opportunity, and maybe he can show the real player he really is. And I think Brooklyn is a really good team for him, because he's not going to be like the face of the team. He's going to be part of that big three with KD and Kyrie, as you said. And he's not going to be the first shooter, so that's great for him. He can get involved in a real team. That I think it was the real problem in Philly, that he didn't get involved in that team. He wasn't really in a good position with in the locker room. He wasn't happy with the teammates, so I think it's a good move for him.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point, because that's a point that I've made as well. You know, people talk about, oh, look how, happy he is now. That's exactly right. Like, if you're unhappy somewhere, that's going to contribute to your mental health, issues. And obviously, once you break free of that environment and you go to somewhere that you clearly want to be at, of course you're going to have a smile on your face. Like he said that basically this was the first time that he smiled in 6 months.
And the thing is that when they asked him, like, did you talk with Joel Embiid about the trade? He was, no. That's it. That was the answer.
Yeah, it was a one-word answer. Yep.
So, I mean, that said everything for me. Like, he was traded, nobody talked to him, and he didn't want to talk with anybody. When all these things happen in OKC with Russell Westbrook, with KD, with James Harden, they talk to each other. But now they don't talk. I mean, what happened? What happened is, like, he's not happy there, and he's not in a good relationship with the teammates. So when he said, did you talk with Joel Embiid? No. That said everything for me.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't happy there. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like you said, look, he's going to a Brooklyn team. I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic on this team. He's going to be playing alongside Patty Mills, who's going to be an absolutely fantastic influence on him. Like you said, he's not going there, being required to be a shooter or anything else. They're going to play a fast tempo, find the open man, find KD, find Kyrie. I think he's going to be just fine. We're going to talk quickly about James Harden as well, and then we're going to move on and we're going to talk a little bit about Dante Exum. Now, James Harden actually had his press conference, and he said that Philly was his first choice. Like, he wanted to go there before the Brooklyn trade last year, and he said that if he'd had a choice, he would have preferred to go to Philadelphia rather than Brooklyn. Now, what did you make of that comment, Antonio?
I mean, James Harden doing James Harden things. He did it again. Like, come on, man. Of course, you're gonna say a lot of good things about your new team, but saying that Philly was your first choice, leaving Houston, come on, man. You serious? And I don't know. I don't know what happened with this guy. I don't understand him. I don't understand what's going on in his mind. Like, this guy was in a really good position, in a really good team like Brooklyn. He was with KD again, and he worked when he played with KD. He always works good, and you got Kyrie, you got like a lot of good players, and you can fight for the championship again. That is something that you didn't do after you leave OKC. So why you want to change? I don't understand. And it was like a kind of roller coaster every time. Like, oh no, I'm happy in Brooklyn. I don't want to leave. Oh, people say you want to leave. Yeah, maybe I'm not good here. Blah blah blah. Oh no, I'm happy in Brooklyn. It's like it was like again and again and again. So I don't know. I don't understand this guy. I don't understand this move.
Yeah, look, I actually think he's going to do well in Philadelphia. I think him and Joel fit better than what Ben and Joel did. I just look, it like you said, he's gone to a new team. I think he's just saying the things that the fans want to hear, especially after the way Ben left and the fans turned on him. Harden turns up there. He wants to get the fans on side before the game's even played. So I think he's saying a lot of what the fans want to hear. Because, look, it is a players' league. And if he really wanted to go to Philadelphia, he would have found a way to go to Philadelphia when that trade happened. So, look, wish them both well. They're both great players. And we'll see what happens in the future. Antonio, let's talk a little bit about the Spanish ACB, which we know that you're an expert on. And obviously, Dante Exum's over there playing with Barcelona at the moment. Look, from all reports, we don't get a lot of ACB highlights down here in Australia, but what we have seen is that Dante's been fitting in, pretty well over there with Barcelona. He's on a short-term contract, so his contract expires at the end of the month. February 28th is when his 3-month contract expires. He was signed by Barcelona as injury replacement for Nick Metallinos. Antonio, what have you seen from Dante Exum over there?
I think the best thing about Dante Exum here is like he is a basketball player again. And it's something that he said, actually, is something that the coach said too. When he came to Barcelona, he was out of shape. He wasn't a real basketball player. And he started fitting good in the team. He started working hard. Sarunas Jasikevicius, that is the coach, said that at the beginning, he wasn't sure that Dante was a really good choice for the team, but after a couple of practice, he was really, really sure that he was going to fit and he was really help the team. And it's what happened. I mean, he's a regular guy. He's playing really good, and the EuroLeague numbers are really good too. It's his first time playing in the EuroLeague, and he's a really good guy actually, and that's something really important for the Spanish teams, that they don't want these kind of jerks playing around, because European basketball is kind of different than NBA, that this is not a players league, as you said with the NBA before. This is a really like a teams league. And it's really important when you got like an overseas player coming here, like fit in the locker room and fit with the teammates and everything. And that's something that happened with Dante Exum. And actually there is a really good story about him that I didn't know, but I asked a couple of people that they work for the Barcelona, and he said that Dante Exum is really close to Muoneke. That is a player that they were teammates in high school, and he's playing in Manresa. Manresa is a city really close to Barcelona. And the thing is that they are like meeting a lot. They are going out, like having dinner with the families and everything. And actually Dante is going to Manresa to watch Muoneke games and everything. So that's something that makes him to be happy here in Spain. And it's something that really helps him to fit in, not just in Barcelona team, but to fit in the league and fit in the country.
Like I said, maybe a lot of people don't really know much about the ACB league down here, but that's a very tough league. And then obviously you've got the Euro League, which is separate, which is kind of like, the European teams all sort of combined. It's like a basketball Champions League, I guess. When you look at Dante's numbers, right, they're good, but they don't like scream out at you. Like he's not averaging 15 points or anything like that. But that's because the game is played a little bit different over there, isn't it, Antonio?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't necessarily reflect on the stat sheet. So I've seen that Coach Jasikevich has said that once the contract is up, they're actually going to reconsider what they're going to do with Dante after that. Dante said he just wants to go back to the NBA. He didn't want to. He said this was only going to be a short-term thing. But do you think there could be a future for him down the line in Europe?
I think so. I mean, he really proves that he can play in Europe. And as you said, European basketball is much different. Like he's playing something around 15, 16 minutes per game. And if you look at his number, that team, I mean, that time is not enough to get like a really huge number, like 20 points, 10 rebounds or whatever. But what he's doing here is like, he's really proving that he can be like a team player. He can fit in a rotation. Like, I don't know, a lot of Spanish teams in the ACB, they play with something like kind of similar like NHL when they play with lines and they play with 5 teammates together on the court, and then they change and they make like I don't know 2-3 changes at the same time. And this is something like happen like you play like 5-6 minutes but 100%, you leave everything on the court and then rest and then you're gonna come back. So it's a different kind of basketball. It's not, and I think Dante Exum he's proven that he can play whatever. Like he can play in the NBA, he can play in Europe, he can play also in a different leagues like FIBA basketball, And it's something that if he's not staying in Barcelona, I think he's proving that he can play like a really high level basketball in Europe. I don't say yet in Spain, but he could play like another different leagues like the Grizzlies or Russian League or whatever. So that's something really good that maybe the NBA is not his only way. Oh, guys, I can hear you now. Mm-mm.
Uno momento, por favor.
Ahora, no.
You heard that?
Yeah.
Okay. Lo siento mucho.
So you bring me to your show to bully me? Come on, man.
All right. I actually even forgot what we were talking about. Okay, I was just saying. So, from what you've seen of Dante Exum, obviously in the Spanish league, do you think he can make it back to the NBA, or do you think he will remain in Europe?
I think he's gonna remain in Europe.
Okay. nice and short answer there from Antonio. All right, Antonio. Let's go back to the NBA. We're going to go back to the NBA now. We're going to talk a little bit about DeMar DeRozan, because DeMar DeRozan, he's having an absolutely fantastic season. Had 40 points yesterday against the San Antonio Spurs. He's averaging 27.9 points, 5.2 rebounds, 5.1 assists. He's got a current streak of 6 consecutive games of 35 plus points while shooting at least 50% from the field. We talk about Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic as, MVP favorites, Antonio, but I want to ask you, should DeMar DeRozan be up there as well?
I think he's a contender. I mean, as you said, like Jokic and Embiid are the favorites right now, and I think all the odds are for him. I mean, for them. But come on, there is not over. We are not even in the All-Star break. It's gonna be like this weekend, but I think DeMar DeRozan could be like a really real contender for the MVP. I mean, not only because his numbers, just because he's playing like in a winning team and the way he involved all the teammates when they play. And I don't know. I think he's more like a team player than Joel Embiid. I'm not gonna say more than Jokic, but yeah, he's a contender for sure.
Yeah, look, for me, winning does count when it comes down to the MVP, right? Because, the way I look at it is if you take a particular player off that team, how well would they do without him? Now, you make the argument for Philadelphia. If you take Joel Embiid off that team, they're definitely not in the position that they are. Probably the same situation for Denver. But, I mean, Chicago's top of the East. DeMar DeRozan was just named Eastern Conference Player of the Week. He's the best fourth quarter player in the league, and he does it all pretty much with a mid-range game. He doesn't shoot a lot of three-pointers. He kind of plays that old school basketball. I would make the argument that the Bulls wouldn't be where they are without DeMar DeRozan.
No, I don't think so. I mean, you're right. It's like he's the face of the team, and of course the Bulls are not the same without him. But I don't know. For me, like being in a winning team is more like, I mean, I think it's more important for the MVP race, because what that means is like, because you're playing good, this team is where he is. I mean, I don't know. I think Denver is really important that they got Jokic on the court for sure. But I think it's more important to get the W's.
Yeah, I think DeMar DeRozan would agree with you there, but it's been a fantastic sort of turnaround to see him. He had those 3 seasons in San Antonio there. Didn't quite play up to that sort of level that we expected him to be. To watch him now come back and just play at this level has been absolutely phenomenal. Antonio, one more time.
Do you remember, Nick, when he left Toronto? And a lot of people said, oh, this is a really bad move. He's not going to be the same player again. He's like, no, he's not the same player. He's better.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, well, he didn't show. I mean, we didn't see that in San Antonio, and obviously San Antonio plays a different system. They actually play more of a European style of basketball, where they don't really rely on one guy. It's more of a team sort of effort. So, like I said, it's good to see DeMar DeRozan back playing at this level. Antonio, one more topic I just want to touch on before we get onto the game predictions, and then we'll let you get off to bed because I know it's late over there in Madrid. All-Star Weekend this weekend. There's 15 international players, that's going to be representing various countries, I believe from 12 countries, 6 international All-Stars, and it's a record 4 international All-Star game starters. The 2 MVP favorites this season, Embiid and Jokic, obviously both internationals. Giannis, who won it 2 years in a row, international. Rudy Gobert, French international, he's the reigning defensive player of the year. Just speak to me a little bit about the growth and the rise of international basketball within the NBA.
I mean, that's the NBA, right? They always say like the NBA is the best league in the world. And also when they win, they say they are world champions. And I mean, that's the NBA. International basketball is getting better and better. And this is a proof. Like you got a lot of international players in a party like the All-Star weekend, but not even just the party. Is like, as you said, like the 2 contenders for the MVP are internationals, and probably Gobert is like the first contender for the Defensive Player of the Year, and all these things. Like basketball is changing, and it's really good because if you look back in, I'm not gonna say the 80s, but if you look back also the 90s, the European players and the international players, they were like role players and maybe like bench players. But now they got like a really important roles in the teams, and they are like NBA superstars. And I think that's really good for the NBA. The NBA is not looking just to the US. They are looking for the international viewers too, and the international market, and not even just China. Like NBA is really big in Europe, and you got probably the best European players in the NBA. And NBA is getting bigger and bigger in Australia. And you said like there are a lot of Australian players there, like playing really good level. So that's the NBA. If you want to be the best league in the world, you have to get the best players in the world, and that's the proof.
And look, I've been saying the best player in the world right now happens to be a guy born in Greece of Nigerian heritage. Shout out to Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's my pick for the MVP, preseason pick anyway. I don't know if I'm still sticking with it, but definitely shout out to Giannis, who's pretty much the face of the league these days. All right, Antonio, we're going to get into some game predictions, and then we're going to let you get off to bed. There's a few games on the schedule today. We're going to take a look at 4 of them over here. We're going to start with the Miami Heat and the Dallas Mavericks. The Heat, $1.53 favorites Dallas Mavericks, $2.58. The line's at -4. Total is at 209 even. This one's live on NBA League Pass. Luka Doncic, speaking of international players, he has been playing absolutely fantastic recently, mainly against the Clippers, but he's been playing absolutely fantastic. Miami's still on top of the East standings. They're half a game ahead of the Bulls. Dallas 33-24 on the season. They don't really have much after Luka in terms of scoring and playmaking. He's pretty much doing it all for them at this point. But I'm going to go with the Miami Heat at home because I think defensively, I mean, they're one of the best teams in the league, and playing at home, I think they've got this one today.
Yeah, I'm not going to say just defensively. I think that they are like probably one of the best teams in the league right now. And but yeah, when they play home, when they play in Miami, they are like a really tough team to beat.
All right, there we go. We agree on that one there. Next game we're going to take a look at is the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. This one's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one today. Celtics are $1.77 favorites. 76ers, 209. The line's at 2.5. Total is at 210. This one's live on ESPN down here. No James Harden. He probably won't play until after the All-Star break with that hamstring issue. The Celtics are absolutely on fire at the moment. They have won 8 in a row. Speaking about defensively, the Boston Celtics are getting it done on the defensive end. Shout out to them. Ime Udoka has got them playing some fantastic basketball at the moment. 76ers have won 2 in a row. And you know what? Even though they're playing at home today and Embiid is an absolute monster, I think the Celtics get the upset in a very close one in Philadelphia.
And also the Celtics are playing like a team basketball, you know, like, okay, Jason Tatum is amazing and he's playing a really good basketball right now, but they play together. And I think that's most important when you play teams like Philly, like when you got like more than one player. And actually, I'm in love with the Celtics right now. I know that's so sad to say that someone that is a big fan, but you know, they got the best 6th man in the league. That is Jason Tatum's son.
Jason Tatum, so?
Yeah, the Jason Tatum's son. Did you see the videos in the last games?
No.
He's like a child.
Yeah.
He's always sitting in the first row in Boston.
Okay.
So the other day, Jason Tatum get hit really hard. He went to the stands, and his kid stand up ready to fight.
Oh.
But then, like a quarter after that, he was just watching video games in the cell phone.
Shout out to Jason Tatum's son in that case. Best 6th man of the league. You heard it right here. All right, next game we're going to look at here is the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. Grizzlies $1.52 favorites. Pelicans $2.58. Line is at 5. Total is at 228. They're live on NBA League Pass. Memphis, they've won 5 in a row, and they are super, super fun. We've been saying it all year. Super fun to watch. They've got a 2.5 game over Utah now. Utah's dropped down to the 4th seeding. So Memphis clear 3rd best team in the Western Conference. Ja Morant is questionable today with left ankle soreness. They're playing in New Orleans. The Grizz are 20-9 on the road this season. Pelicans started the year 1-12. They're now 23-34. So they're making a run for that play-in seeding. Not sure if they're going to get it. I think even without Ja Morant today, if he doesn't end up playing, I think the Grizzlies have too much for the Pelicans.
Yeah, I mean, Ja Morant is playing like amazing basketball this season, and he's a human highlight and everything. But the really good thing about the Memphis Grizzlies is like they are a team without him also. So I think that's the most important key to get the W to them.
Yep, there we go. We agree again on that one there. Last game we're going to look at here, Antonio, is the Los Angeles Clippers and the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns heavy favorites here, $1.10. Clippers $7.50. Clippers had a big win over the Warriors yesterday, actually, but yeah, I don't know if they're going to win today. Line's at -13. Total is at 222 flat. Clippers also playing second night of a back-to-back. No Norman Powell for the Clippers. He's got a fractured foot. Suns have won 5 in a row, 46-10. Best record in the league. No campaign, no Landry Shamet. It's not going to matter. This is the best team in basketball, most complete team in basketball. They are going to win big at home today.
I'm going to say the Clippers.
Oh.
You know what? Just because 7.5 is a lot of money, man.
Okay. Okay. All right. There you go. We disagree.
Crawford is still playing for the Clippers? No, right?
So who?
Jamal Crawford.
I wish he was still playing for the Clippers, man. Like Jamal Crawford he's 40 years old, but he can still ball. We had,
sure.
And he's such a super nice guy, as you know, Antonio. All right, my friend, muchas gracias. We're going to let you get off to bed. Like I said, I know it's late over there in Madrid. Thank you for taking the time to join us. And, we might have to check in with you again if Dante Exum continues his spell in Barcelona.
No, thank you, man. Thanks for having me in the show. Sorry for my English. It wasn't the best one. Don't make jokes about me when I leave, okay? Don't make jokes.
No, your English is fine. It's definitely better than my Espanol, Antonio. Muchas gracias. This has been another episode of The Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV, brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au. And we're going to see you guys on Friday morning with old mate Benyam Kadane. We'll be right back.